Good morning, YouTube. Well, just when you thought this thing couldn't get any sillier. All right, in the news, our president. I want to say it so bad. I want to say y'all's president, but it is what it is. Anyway, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. I don't know why we thought that we were going to get something different when Trump got in the White House than we were getting on his campaign. When he was talking about grabbing women by the genitals and all that kind of stuff, there should have been enough indications to let us know the character of the person you were putting in the White House. These are people who have to deal. People who have to deal with world leaders, many of which who are women in this current reality. Anyway, so Trump this morning, I guess it's 7:52 this morning, he tweets out, "I heard poorly rated Morning Joe, don't watch anymore," in parenthesis, "doesn't like me very much." All right, so now you know what it being. We've all been around enough to know the presidents are going to be attacked by commentators, by constituents, by everybody. It's part of the job. It goes along with the job, right? He gets on there. He sees them make it. They're not horrible to him because they are Republicans. Morning Joe show, but they don't agree with his policies and with his presidency, from what I understand. Anyway, he says he goes on to call Mika, the girl, low IQ, crazy Mika, and Psycho Joe. That's what she calls him. Then he says she was bleeding badly from a facelift. That is so childish. You know, he calls Mika a low IQ. Okay, if you are the president of the United States and you go on Twitter continually with shit like this, who is the low IQ? I mean, if someone's saying stupid statements like this, public statements, even if they just had a good job at the phone company, and they would go in public and say stupid stuff like this that could potentially get them to lose their job, you would say, well, that's a person with a low IQ. If you get in an argument with somebody and they start talking about how big your ears are, you would say, okay, that's a person of a low IQ. The way he, stop boy, gets in all these feuds and so sensitive and all this stuff, while at the main time being supposedly a multi-billionaire, you would say, okay, that's a person with a low IQ. Yet, he calls her the one with the low IQ. Joe's a Psycho. I actually like that show. I've been starting to watch it. It comes on so early, but I've actually been watching it on YouTube, clips of it. They're pretty good. They're pretty good, pretty thorough, and they're Republicans, so they're not totally partisan. At least they're not Democrats. They're just telling the truth. Anyway, he goes on there to say all these things. She was bleeding from her facelift. Now, you know what's going to be very insulting to a woman. First of all, if she wanted us to know she had a facelift, she would come and tell us. It's a petty. Listen, the big mystery is, how in the hell did Donald Trump acquire all that money? And then the next question for me would be, did he really acquire all that money? Or is he just hocked up his ass and he's just a carnival barker? Because obviously he doesn't have a problem lying. He took a Times magazine, blew up a fake article promoting his show and putting it all over his properties. That shows you the character. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. The character of this person we put in the White House. People who are still continuing to support Donald Trump, that is speaking to your level of intelligence, your IQ. Think about it. For you to want someone like that to be the leader of the country, to represent us all over the world. I mean, he goes on tours to immediately insult every ally we have overseas. I mean, on the first trip. Then he gets in all these petty skirmishes with TV show hosts. And I mean, isn't there a country to be ran? Isn't he in the middle of trying to push over this bullshit healthcare bill? You would think he would be involved in that, or so immersed in that he wouldn't have time to get into petty squabbles with people on Twitter. A person of even moderate intelligence would say, okay, no more Twitter. I'm canceling my account. I'm the president. When I get through being the president, I'll go back to tweeting. It's not doing him any good. This man is questioning the very thing that I question about him, his IQ. Because you can make money, and Lord knows how many tricks is involved in that, and we'll never know the real truth about him. He won't even show his tax return. Just tells you he's not going to ever just tell us the real truth. It's always going to be pieced together what the truth is from the little bits I give you. So we don't know. We don't know anything about Trump, really. Everything is a lie. Everything is. I mean, they say he's had multiple times cover stories through his lifetime. Why not just put one of them up in the frame? Nope. He wants to manipulate the perception that his show, The Apprentice, is the highest rated show of all time, which we all know that's bullshit. Anyway, so now he then went and insulted this woman. She's a low IQ and psycho. Like that's going to make them now be so scared of him that they are now going to change the way that they're covering him. It's going to make it worse. Getting to this pissing contest, even with that thing with Rosie O'Donnell, just like a child. She's like a child, a very immature bully. One of those spoiled rich brats we've heard about, who go to the grocery store, and when you don't give them what they want, they lay on the ground and kick and knock all the goddamn shit off the shelves. That's what you're dealing with. Anyway, just pitiful, this dude. I mean, so petty. If you get into arguing with somebody over some kind of policy or some kind of business decision, and then all of a sudden he's talking about how big your head is, and your caps are not as good as mine. Oh, where'd you get that suit? It's a sign of low IQ. They go to the lowest denominators. It's embarrassing. He is an embarrassment, Donald Trump. Pitiful. All right, good morning, people. I'm going to come back in a minute here with Queen Sugar. I do enjoy that show. But this president,